Happy to be with you on a busy Thursday night. Just hours before the deadline, Governor Phil Scott officially filed paperwork this afternoon. He intends to run for a record-breaking 6th term. This comes after months of speculation over whether this would be his final full year in office or not. ABC 22's Matt Holderman was at the Secretary of State's office all day, and he joins me now live in the studio to recap Phil Scott and, of course, someone else. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Lauren. Yeah, that's right. The Vermont Republican Party can breathe a sigh of relief now as they know they've got their guy and they've got a good shot at keeping the governor's office another 2 years. Governor Scott says he did have plenty of thoughts about not running again this year, but between education reform, affordability, housing, flooding, and more, he says he couldn't leave just yet.
We still have a ways to go with all the pandemic and all the flooding and so forth. We have a little ways to go, but it's doable.
History on the horizon for this construction worker and race car driver turned top politician. Vermont Governor Phil Scott officially filed to run for his 6th term Thursday afternoon, one that, if he wins, would make him the longest-serving governor in state history. Currently, the record belongs to former Governor Howard Dean, who assumed office in August 1991, when then-Governor Richard Snelling died. Dean held the seat for 11.5 years up until January 2003, and if Scott were to win and serve a full 6th term, it would end in January 2029, keeping him in office for 12 years and beating Dean's record by about 7 months. But for Phil Scott, this was never about making history. When asked about why he's running again, he says he made a commitment to Vermonters that he feels he still needs to satisfy.
Yeah, it's not about, breaking records. It's about trying to do something good for the state and fulfilling the promise I made that when I first started, that we'd leave Vermont in better condition than when we found it. It's not easy work. It weighs on you, but at the end of the day, I feel a responsibility to stick this out.
Hey, man.
Along with Governor Scott filing Thursday, there was already a glimpse into a possible future race for the governor's office 2 years down the road. State Treasurer Mike Pieciak, who some thought would run for governor this year, instead filed to run for a 3rd term as treasurer. When asked about the decision, he says he has unfinished business as treasurer and has had a difficult year personally, but that the door is still open on 2028.
There's a lot of great work that we've accomplished, but a lot of great work we started that we want to see through. It's also been a really hard year for me personally. I lost both my parents, separated from my husband. We'll see. I mean, it's something certainly open to considering, but like I said, I'm really interested in making sure we follow through on the next 2 years.
Now, as far as the Democratic nomination goes, it looks like it will be Amanda Janneau versus Allie Richards this year. I asked both of their campaigns for comment on Scott running again on the Republican side, but I heard back from neither one of them today. They both filed their candidacy paperwork yesterday and will square off in the August primary just over 2 months from now. Reporting live in the studio, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.